also look at importing data. And with this one, I will not demonstrate it for time reasons. We'll demonstrate that in our next session. You can use either the use, the save, the clear memory, import Excel CSV, and delimited. So what we mean by the use is that if you look at what I have in my system, for Mac users, you can always see the use if you click on a particular data set that you've opened. And then the save also saves the data set that you are currently working on. And to save a data set, always make sure that you have an original version of the data set, because you might have done some recoding and other editing to the data set. And the moment you save, you might not be able to go back to the original one that you have. So it is always good to keep a master copy of the original data set that you have. And then the clear memory, it clears the data set memory. So another thing you might want to do when you are starting your analysis is to clear every memory in your Stata interface, just to ensure that you are starting afresh. And then the import Excel helps us to import Excel files for our analysis. And that's one beautiful thing about Stata. You can import different type of files and then convert them to Stata files before you do your main analysis. And Excel file, it can either be an Excel file or a CSV file, which Stata will beautifully allow you to incorporate. It could also be an SPSS file that you might want to import into your Stata file for analysis. And talking about Stata files, the Stata 8 file is with the extension .dta. I'm going to switch again just to show you an example of that. So if you look at the recent demographic and health survey, this is the individual record file. And with the individual record file, we see that we have different files here. The .do, remember I said that's an extension of your do file. .smlc is an extension of your log file. And then .data is an extension of how the original Stata file is. So if you see a DTA file, just know that it's a Stata file. And if I want to use it or import that into my Stata software, I can just double click it like this. But remember, this is already in my system. So with Mac users, you always see the word use before the path to that data set. So assuming I don't want to go to where this particular data set is saved, but I just want to call in the data straight, I'll just type use, and then I can just put the path there and press enter. And the data will come to my system for me to use for analysis. And with a clear, if I want to clear all the existing data in my Stata user, I can just click on clear, and then everything will go. This is how the clear command also works. One word of caution here for us is that, especially with Windows users, for Mac users, sometimes it is not possible to have a lot of Stata files open at a go. But with Windows users, always be mindful of having many status open, because if you are working in a do file, the do file might be confused as to which Stata file you are issuing the commands to run in. So always be mindful of how many Stata files you open. I've already spoken to you about how to call in data set. And then clearing the memory, I've also demonstrated this already. So if you want to clear the memory, you just type clear in the command, which removes everything from the memory. And it is always important for you to do this because the system might have already kept some data files in the memory. But the moment you clear it, it clears the path for you to start everything afresh, which is always highly recommended. There is another important file or service in the Stata software, which is the help file. What it does is that it helps you to see how a particular command works. So if I want to do logistic regression and I don't know how the command works, I can just type help logistic. Then the system will bring it up here for me to see. So here it tells me that for me to do logistic regression, the syntax is logistic, and then my dependent variable followed by my independent variable. And if I want to indicate weight or if I want to specify it or restrict it to a particular type of variable, I can do that. Or if I want to add weight to that particular command, then I can do that. So this is also another important feature in the Stata software, especially if you are new to Stata and you don't really know how a particular command works. How then do we view data in our Stata interface? To view data, we can just use the browse command. And if we type the browse command, it will beautifully open the data file for us. But let me demonstrate that as well for you to see. So assuming I want to call in this, my DHS data set, if I want to view it, I can click on browse or I can type browse in the command window and I'll see something like this. So it tells me the specific variables in the data set. And remember, in our do file, they labeled it from case ID to the last variable. And if you want to view it, that's how you also see it in your data set. So it starts from the case ID through to the last one. And some of them are in red, others are in black. Those that are in black are numeric ones, and those that are in red are in labels, or they are what we call string variables. So always take note of that. So assuming I want to edit this data set, assuming it's a raw data set that I have collected or inputted or imported from a different file, I can click on edit here. But if you click on this, Stata will warn you, you are about to change from browse to edit mode. Are you sure you want to change to edit mode? If you are very sure, then you click on change to edit mode. Then it now gives you the permission or the opportunity to make changes to your data set if you want to. So that's about the browse. The next thing is how to view data. If you want to view data, you can just use the list command, or for instance, if I want to view this variable HV or V024, so let me type that in my command window and you see how that appears. So list, I want to view variable, let me view variable V013. So it lists all the variables for us. And if you see on my left-hand side here, from the first participant or respondent through to the last one, remember in the data file, we said the observations are 15,014, 15014. So the last participant here is 15014, and the person is between the age 20 to 24. So that's how you can also see how some of the data files are.